The best way to gauge someone is to ask him a very, very complex question and have him answer it in a way that a 5-year-old will understand. So that's a whole language barrier gone overnight. There is a bunch of people who will have a crisis if I am not to do work. And who owns the intellectual property?
Yeah.
What we're going to see is an explosion of innovation.
Okay, so does AI kill innovation or does it promote?
What we're going to see is an explosion of innovation.
And what kind of innovation are we going to see in this explosion?
There was a lot of things that took months to do that now are hours. A good example is even software development, right? So there are tools like Cursor now that they're still not good enough to be a senior developer, but they're at a level where I can give Cursor a task and have it do the job of a junior. And so, and that's one AI agent working to build one piece of code. We're now heading towards a reality where we're talking about multi-agent, right? The multi-agent world where a company or a team can be replaced by a team of collaborating AI agents. So think of me being able to create a software development team or even a sales and marketing team with only AI agents that are able to go to my CRM, or maybe go to a lead scraping tool, get a bunch of leads, figure out who they are, send them a bunch of emails. This is something that was cost prohibitive to do previously. I think what AI is doing is enabling innovation, and at the same time it's kind of leveling the curve. Before you had to have a certain amount of money to get a dev team. Now, if you know what you're doing, for example, you might not need as many people. Right, so that's an efficiency. The same exists in sales, marketing, operations, and so AI will allow founders who before they have to have a team of 15 people, let's say, to get something off the ground. They can probably do it with 2 or 3, and so there's a whole bunch of other barriers that are about to collapse. An example of that was yesterday's Apple AirPods launch. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, so the new AirPod has real-time translation.
Really?
Yes. So imagine that, wearing the Apple AirPod 3, I can be speaking, I'll be, Shukri doing Shukri things, speaking in English. The guy in front of me on Zoom is hearing my voice in Mandarin Chinese. And then he's speaking Mandarin Chinese to me, and I'm hearing him in English.
You can...
So that's a whole language barrier gone overnight.
So I think that there's 2 different things we should discuss in this podcast. There's innovation, but there's also efficiency. And they're kind of the same in a way when you talk about AI, but they're also different. I mean, AI is very broad. There's a lot of people saying that there's going to be an efficiency explosion, and that efficiency explosion is going to save us from economic doom or from any kind of sort of decline. And, if we go back to the 2008 financial crisis, it was bad, but at the same time, there was the iPhone coming out. There was a lot of innovation when it comes to social media platforms, and some theorize that economically, this tech saved us a little bit from what could have been a worse financial crisis by having all this innovation. So what does AI mean for humanity then, largely speaking? It sounds like you're saying that you'll be able to do a lot more with a smaller team.
Yeah. There are multiple ways you can look at it. I choose to look at the optimistic angle. And in the optimistic angle, yes, there's a bunch of jobs that will be replaced by AI, true. But then every time, if you go back since the dawn of humanity, every time we created some new technology that ended or made a whole bunch of stuff obsolete, at the same time that created with it new jobs, new opportunities that are different, right? So, horse and buggy gone, now we have cars, there's car factories that need people, right? So I think that always plays out. However, I feel this time is different. It's different because essentially mental labor, as like a lot of the reasoning that we did or we do as humans can now be dedicated to machines.
For the first time in history.
For the first time in history. And there is social, emotional, financial implications to that I think are very, very deep. And it'll be really interesting to be part of that. I think there's a whole bunch of jobs that are about to go away. And if those jobs go away, I believe there's going to be somewhere in the next 2 to 5 years where all jobs go away. Right? I think we've been talking about that. Everybody talked about universal basic income and the idea that we'll all be, sitting comfy at home, collecting paychecks from the government. I think some of that will play out for sure. And I think there's a bunch of people who will have a crisis. If I am not to do work, where's the meaning in my life?
Yeah.
And so I think there is that. But one thing I know is that human beings are resilient. And the other is it's all forever dynamic. Like there's no such thing as, like we're not suspended in time, right? Every time sometimes founder will say, hey, listen, this idea has been done. And I'm like, no. And like, yes, it might have been done, but it's like every time you have a problem in the world, you bring a solution to it, you solve that problem, but then that creates other new types of problems that now you have to go and solve. And it's forever till infinity.
That's a great example of Zoom is kind of like that. I mean, Skype and Zoom were the same thing. Yes. Zoom was just so much more convenient during the pandemic. It solved the problem.
Have you seen the first electric car?
I guess the first electric car would be ancient.
It's ancient.
Yeah.
It's ancient. It goes back to
like Victorian era.
Yeah. So there was electric cars then, right? And then they go through evolutions and
we're back to square one.
Well, it's like everything is new, yet everything is still the same.
There have been a lot of attempts at electric cars, and it took Musk to really get it done. And I think one of the reasons why Musk succeeded was he made the Tesla sexy. We were in the Tesla today. It's a sexy car. It's a fun car, and it's true. Like you can produce something old, like make it new again by giving it, nice branding.
But there's also another brilliant strategy that Musk did with a Tesla. He went niche. The first Tesla was super expensive. The Roadsters, there's only a few of them. He sold them.
Oh yeah,
for a ridiculous amount of money.
Lotus Elise chassis. Yeah, I've seen them.
And then took that money and then created the first kind of manufacturing line, and then you go from there. So what I love about Musk is how kind of strategic, you can see the multi-level chess game he plays with different companies at different times, right? And it takes a ridiculous amount of planning.
And we're seeing that now with X and XAI and Gronk and all this stuff going on. Yeah. So going back then to this philosophical conversation about AI taking over, from my perspective, I think in the short term, it's the first time that actually more higher jobs are at risk. I mean, your local construction work isn't going to get replaced by AI in the next couple of years. Not yet. Maybe in the future. And I don't even think in restaurants, I mean, people want to get served. I don't think
robots are going to be there.
It could happen. Maybe in Asia, I could see it being, but in Toronto, I don't think there's going to be like AI waiters anytime soon.
Well, there are already robots in like sushi places and stuff.
It's in Asia. It's like an Asian thing.
I think maybe for now, but I mean, do you think that's going to be the case 2-3 years from now?
Maybe not. But I definitely think that, like you said, a junior dev is not necessarily super necessary now.
True.
Compared to a couple of years ago.
Well, we've never hired juniors. We don't usually hire juniors, but now this is more true than ever because essentially anything that a junior will do and will probably take him 8 hours, I feel like the AI will probably be able to do in an hour. So that's 1 to 8 leverage. That's ridiculous.
And then as well with graphic design, there's so much AI can do.
Yes.
And with cleaning up audio, there's so much AI can do.
Yes.
These are more technical jobs that are getting lost for the first time in history. These were the jobs that were supposed to not get lost.
Yes, and I mean the developer, right? Like the developers for a while we've been kind of like there's probably lawyers, doctors, and then software people, right? It's kind of
I got a Porsche out back.
But I think that is also about to change, and I think with that, even doctors and lawyers are not immune. And that's what's interesting.
Yes, and that's another good point with screening cancers. AI can do it better. I went to university for years, and now an AI can do my job
better, right? Like it's essentially the accuracy difference is massive. And then have you seen like the AI lawyers, right? Like fighting travel, like the first one I think was like fighting travel tickets, like car tickets, auto travel tickets.
Yeah, an AI lawyer. I never even thought about that until you just mentioned it now. I totally have an AI lawyer.
I mean, think of it in essence. What does a lawyer do? He memorizes the law.
And recites it.
Yeah. Recites the law. studies case precedents, like looks at previous cases that, similar to his case. And then, so it's all, a good lawyer is just pattern matching.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know who else knows all the law and read all the rules? An LLM, right? I can take an LLM, train it on every law in the country, and now tell it, hey, go find me some exceptions.
I use a
Find me
lot
the
of
precedents.
ChatGPT for stock market investing now as well. I'll be like, hey, what's the company earning? What's the debt ratio? It pulls all the information, and it's quite accurate. I mean, a couple of years ago, you would have to shift through reports to get that kind of information. So then, from an artistic standpoint, when you generate something on ChatGPT, generate me an image, this stuff is getting pulled from somewhere. Like it's, I don't know how you want to frame it, stealing or taking, repurposing.
Yeah.
Like how much of AI is there an ethical implication? Like even with coding, where's this code coming from? Like what is?
Yeah, and I mean, and who owns the intellectual property?
Yeah.
Was it the person producing the code? Was it the AI? I think these are things we're still navigating, right? Of course. And then, if everybody has the same access to the same AIs, where's the edge?
Where is the edge?
The people. It's still the people.
It still comes down to
Right?
the people.
If I can prompt better than you do, I'm gonna win. Right? So I think AI is leverage applied to everybody. So again, going back to the person, if you are, if you're smart, if you're sharp, if you kind of know your stuff, all of that just gets leveraged.
You know what the sad truth is, though? There's an article I saw once about the internet, and it was saying that everyone's going to become educated now that the internet exists because everyone can go on the internet and become educated. I mean, article is like 20 years old now. I don't think everyone is educated with the internet. It's like you will have those who use AI and those who don't, and the ones who use it will.
But even not everyone that uses AI is qualified, and then if you get, pardon my French, an idiot, and an idiot who uses AI is leverage, but it's negative leverage.
Just like the internet.
Just like the internet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, fair point.
Leverage goes both ways, I guess.
I think that looking back, I mean, I went to college and you went to school as well before AI. And I mean, AI is so new, everyone did. But it's crazy to think that our kids will never really know what it was like. Like we live now in the post-AI world that we're never going back.
I mean, just go to like your thesis, right? A
Yeah.
thesis report that I had to work 3 freaking weeks for. I'm like,
Hey, ChatGPT, write me a thesis. Thanks.
Just hit me with the thesis, man.
Time to go party.
Yes.
Time to go hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
But to me, this is something that our educational system always bothered me to some extent, because the whole idea of you memorizing formulas, recipes, information, history, to me has always seemed ridiculous. Because if it's an information that I can easily have on my fingertips in less than 3 seconds, it has no place in my brain. Why would I store it in my brain? So I'll leave my brain to the higher order pattern matching.
Yeah,
that matters.
Do you agree then? Like it's kind of a trope, but it's like C students in the real world. C students are the CEOs.
I mean, CEO skill set is probably a lot of communication, and I wouldn't equate academic performance to real world performance in anything, pretty much. I think it's my experience has actually been it's like inverse correlation. So like the other day I talked to an MBA, and again she spent I don't know how many years and how many $1,000 later, and I'm like, hey, oh yeah, you did this and you're kind of business administration and you specialize in digital marketing. Where do you get your leads? He's like, I don't know. I don't know. And so there is the kind of, I find, and this is probably going to offend a lot of people, but even when kind of we get sometimes like AI scientists, data scientists, and so you have kind of 2 types of people. There's the AI scientists, and then there's AI engineers. And you find the scientist is highly theoretical. He can get tell him to build you an algorithm to do something, and he'll go and disappear and go do it. But if you tell that person, take that thing and put it in production, have it, have 1 million people go and use it, they can fail miserably. And it's because, some of them are the theoretical people. They know how to kind of derive a theory and then go work and then create something. But then there's the practitioners. And I think with AI, all of these, theorists have no place. And it's going to be all about the practitioners and the practitioners leveraging AI.
Makes sense. So circling back then, I think it is kind of interesting. You mentioned talking to someone with an MBA. Like, what do you use to gauge people's knowledge and skill set then in this new world of AI? Like, you must do job interviews and stuff.
Intelligence. And how do I gauge for that?
Yeah.
Language use.
Makes sense. So then
Clarity in speech reflects clarity of thought. So, and the best way to gauge someone is to ask him a very, very complex question and have him answer it in a way that a 5-year-old will understand. So if you tell someone, explain AI in a paradigm that, a 5-year-old will understand, and if they're able to explain it, they've internalized it. If they go fancy jargon on you, most likely they're BSing.
they're trying
too hard.
So then in the future, what is then your prediction for how AI will take over, the Shukri prediction?
In a good scenario, so let's talk about the positive scenario. In a positive scenario, AI is available everywhere, just like water, right? Like, we no longer think that, hey, we don't have to worry about where water is going to come from, where am I going to get water to drink, and same as electricity, right? Like, you and I just take it for granted. It's always there. And I think the AI is going to be the same, embedded into the fabric of life, embedded into your fridge. It's already in your phone. It's just going to be more around you. And I think the best AI will be kind of ambient. It's there. You don't see it. It's doing its thing. And in my opinion, these are the best products. The best product in the world is one that you don't have to do anything for it to work and for it to solve your problem, right? So then it stays. You get it. You acquire it. You activate it. Stays out of your way. Does its job for ages and ages. You don't have to think about it anymore. So I think AI is going to be like that. That's going to be embedded into everything we do. Imagining what society is going to look like is that's the very interesting part. That's the thing that keeps me up at night, kind of thinking about what would that be like.
And I've heard you talk about AI agents before. Like, how would a world populated by different AI agents work? Like, Shukri, you have your AI, I have my AI. My hotel that I want to go to has its own AI.
I think it's going to be, if you and I need to have a meeting, I'll just send my AI to talk to your AI, and they're just going to chat together, and they're going to come back with conclusion. And I think there's an arms race going right now. I don't know if anyone has called it in the news or anything, but I believe that at least between Claude and ChatGPT, there's an arms race right now. The first one of them to become my personal agent, Siri, right? I think Siri was meant to be that, but Siri
sucks.
So dumb, right? So I think, yeah, and that's where Perplexity is interesting, and there's already talks between Apple and Perplexity, so that should be interesting. But I think there is going to be an arms race for the personal agent, because that personal agent is going to make your buying decisions. So it's going to acquire products for you, which means marketers are going to be fighting for kind of attention share from that agent that you have.
Yeah, like almost like SEO for an AI.
Well, that's the thing, and we actually called it. If you remember, maybe 6 months or 9 months ago, we called it on the BitLab blog. We said search is dead. This was the moment when I first stumbled on Perplexity, and I'm like, hey, I found myself using it more than I use Google. Now, barely use Google.
Yeah, it's much easier to get your AI to search the web for you.
Search is over. So now if you have to rank, you have to make sure your content is actually something that GPT will pull, Claude will pull. And there's a lot of kind of technical, details that go into that. But that's the thing now.
And why, like, it's a bit of a side conversation, but like, why did Apple drop the ball on Siri? I mean, it felt like they were so far ahead years ago. Siri was very innovative at its time.
It was. I guess you're asking why Apple is failing to innovate.
Yeah.
No idea. I'm not there. But all I know is, ever since Steve Jobs passed away, we're just getting more cameras.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's just throw one more camera at the thing.
Newer HD camera. So then you actually have a positive outlook for the future. You think AI will increase efficiency. Overall, it will create a new world populated by assistants, AI agents. And do you have any other predictions?
I believe I think, again, so what I've seen in my lifetime so far, at least I can talk about the kind of IT sector and kind of tech and software and development, because that's a market I understand. What I think there is that the whole software industry is going to change forever, right? So I think industries are going to go away, and this time it's us, it's the software industry, and I don't think it's going to go away in the kind of like disappear overnight. But I think being able to do more with less people, I think the job of a junior software developer is pretty much gone. And that actually is a puzzle for me, because I would hire a senior right now, because a senior who knows what they're doing with AI is an insane leverage. But then all of the juniors, like nobody's hiring them, so they're never going to get good. So what are they going to do?
And what do you think a junior developer, like if you were a junior developer right now, what would you do?
I'll be just learning AI as much as I can and just getting good. So yeah, but I think, so that's one way society is going to change. That kind of tech, you no longer need as many people to do tech. So there is going to be some sort of I would call it like I wouldn't call it a black swan event, but I think that tech is going to crash at some point.
It will be the gradual pivot. Like the internet didn't really, it slowly took over. AI is going to take over quicker.
It already did. Like if you look at
you
look at the kind of growth charts of ChatGPT, I think it was the most widespread product in the world ever done.
Do you think ChatGPT will continue being top dog, or do you think they'll be replaced by something else?
Personally, I find myself leaning towards Claude now. Claude is more. I think they have different markets. So OpenAI feels like more enterprisey. And we saw that with the $10 million kind of enterprise consulting deals. Claude is kind of heading towards becoming that kind of personal agent. That's my kind of intuition from using both of them on a daily basis. I feel like Claude is looking better and better, and I can tell you that almost hands down all our developers prefer Claude any time of the day.
What's the large language model behind Perplexity?
They have a few actually. And you can actually switch between them. So they run Claude, they run OpenAI, and then they have their own kind of models as well.
What's the worst model?
Well, any model born today is probably going to be bad in a month or 2 or 3. It's going to be irrelevant. So if you're building, so the best thing for you to do is basically, whenever you're building a technology product, have that intelligence layer pluggable, plug and play. Because today there's a good model, tomorrow's going to be a better one. And so can your product get better by plugging in better models? That's the secret sauce for now. And then the second secret sauce is going to be data. I think that's a forever thing. Data is the most valuable thing.
And how do you get your hands on data?
Get customers. So you get customers, or just go buy data if you have the money.
I guess, would Apple then, Apple would have access to data just by having phones in general.
Yes. So that's why if you look at kind of the companies that are in best position to deliver on like models are the companies that are sitting on massive amounts of data. So Facebook, Meta, and then, like OpenAI had to buy its way into all of the data, same with Claude. So I think it's that company that has the most data will win.
Then the counter argument is that there's companies in Asia that are building models that are quite good, but they don't necessarily have access to that data.
Well, the way they do it, for example, you're referring to
like DeepSeek.
But DeepSeek pretty much
stole it
indirectly. So it's essentially you use a good model to train your model, and so in essence you kind of short circuit this whole idea of needing to ingest more data, because you kind of distillation is what they call it. So you distill another model that already consumed all the data, so you take all the learning without having to consume all the data.
And then like ChatGPT was the original large language model that really shook the market. Is everything kind of based off ChatGPT then to some extent?
No, there is. In fact, ChatGPT is not the first. Like the whole large language model came out of a whole bunch of research papers.
But then ChatGPT, it felt like it was this thing like, wow, ChatGPT. I forget when ChatGPT really took off. It felt like 2000 and 2023, 2022.
I'd say, probably 23.
It was just this revolutionary software that came out of nowhere, and everyone was making shorts about, oh, ChatGPT can do this for you, this for you, this for you. Here's how to make millions of ChatGPT. It feels like ChatGPT is the first.
Claude, I think Claude was there earlier on the kind of consumer-facing model, but we haven't. I think it never became a thing until.
That's funny. I
ChatGPT
wonder why
became a thing.
ChatGPT became the consumer facing model, because no one really uses Claude other than maybe. more
I don't know.
technical
I
people.
think they have a decent population. I think they have a lot of people.
But if you went up to the average person on the street, they probably have ChatGPT on their phone. They probably don't have Claude on their phone.
Probably like I think in the US it's a very different picture. US market might be different.
Pull up the graph.
Yeah, we'll have to pull up the graph.
Okay.
Mm.
Do you have anything else you want to say then for this one?
on kind of ChatGPT versus Claude.
Just in general, like AI, innovation, the future.
I think I mean, for you to wake up out of bed and, do the things you gotta do, you have to believe that the future is bright. You have to believe that, there's always a better future. And if not, you're gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.